This is a self-love centered floral arrangement tutorial. The goal isn't to have you make a particular kind of arrangement, but to have you arrange the flowers in a way that makes you feel loved when you see the flowers. To start, you have to choose the flowers. Grocery store florals are recommended, though really you're free to get the flowers wherever you get them. Choose the bouquet or the flowers that spark good feelings. Happiness, love, joy. The flowers that remind you of your favorite person. So I was loving this purple here, and I took it from there. And then I picked up this bunch. Aren't they beautiful? Yes, they are. And so for this tutorial, I bought these flowers and then let them sit for a week before recording. Not on purpose. Life got intense, but I could work with these. So in addition to the flowers, you need a vessel to put the flowers in. I'm gonna keep it empty for now, no water. And some floral shears or some sharp scissors. And so you first take your flowers out of the packaging. If you've had them sitting around, like I did, you definitely want to inspect them to ensure that you sort out what you might not want in the arrangement. You can play with what you do want, and I'm loving these flowers here. But yeah, just give yourself the opportunity to kind of like sort through what you got from the grocery. Even if they weren't sitting around in your house, they might have been sitting around in the grocery. And so you might have a few flowers in there that, like that, you might not like. I think I shriveled, but we're going to use it. Nope. And don't be afraid to say no to something you picked up and you thought you would like. Yeah. Like that. That's not going to work. So you have the vessel, empty, nothing in it. Get you the first flower you want to put in there. It could be any flower you choose if you have like a variety in the grocery store bouquet. And just try to see how long you want them and then cut, kind of like I just did there. Also, please cut on an angle that helps the flower take in more water. Okay, so there I am leaning the first few flowers towards me. So while this isn't about having a particular shape, there is going to be a vibe to the way the flowers are angled. And so you see me leaning flowers towards me, right? The idea is that these flowers will look like they are stretching themselves out to you in love. Yeah, so, and there's no exact science. It really also depends on the flower, the size of the bud. These are smaller buds, but I do want them to stand out in the arrangement, right? So we have the start. There we go. Okay. So over the next few minutes, you're going to see me processing more flowers. If you want to get a sense of what it means to actually process the flowers, that means cleaning off the little leaves and the things that can fall into the water that you don't want in the water, or things that you might not think are the most attractive on the flower, then cutting them to the size you think they should be cut to. Yeah, you can watch, or if you don't really need that, you can sort of skip around a bit, but just to see that the way that the process goes is that you take your flower, You're going to be leaning the flowers towards you to start, kind of like I did there. And particularly if you're working with a variety of flower types, you want to think about how the shapes all kind of look together when you're like putting them in the vessel in a way that is outstretched to you. So yeah, I'm going to be placing that sunflower in a way that kind of like leans over there. All right. More processing. This particular stalk of flowers has a lot of little leaves and things to clean off. And then there I am just sort of angling it. So it really is no exact science to this. And as you go along, you might find that you even have to change things up. But what you will also find is that you would definitely be cleaning things off of the flowers. It's so important. And the reason why that's important is because as the arrangement sits in the vessel, things will fall off and fall into the water, and it messes with the water's health and then the flower health. Here we go, see? So because of the size of the bud and the shape of the buds, I decided for most of these flowers that, like, if they're not stretching out towards me as I look at it directly, they'll be stretching out to the side, kind of like a hug from a flower, or a floral hug. Again, the idea is that I feel loved when I look at this arrangement. And so the flowers are reaching out to me with love. One important thing to note too is that because this is not an exact arrangement that you need to copy exactly, you kind of get to make up where you want things to go, right? So a tip also, if you're dealing with like flowers that are old, have been sitting around, is not just about cleaning off the stalk or, cutting them well, which is what I'm doing here with this other sunflower whose petals were about to fall off. I decided to basically get rid of the petals. Don't be afraid to pull petals off of flowers too, particularly if they don't look good. And in this case, I kind of made it into its own kind of like green that I'm putting on the other side. There you go. I think I like how that looks. And let me show you. So still with that process. And I just want to highlight that as I prepare to even record this, I decided to dress in a particular way. I'm very comfortable in some yoga pants and a slouchy sweater. And, oh, look at these flowers. Oop. All the leaves for me to take off. Yeah. But I am very comfortable. And so the thing about this kind of work is that, you're on your feet for a while. You want to be comfortable, particularly if you're intending for the arrangement to be a representation of love. You should feel loved and cozy and all the good things as you go along. See? Here we go. And really, in arranging them, you're like leaning things towards you and to the side. These greens here were definitely a little dried, but I felt like I could work with it. Kind of like thought about where I wanted to put things. Took some leaves off. Again, don't be afraid to edit. And then I stuck them in a way that's outstretched to me when I looked at it. And that's really the key here to this self-love centered flower arrangement, that the flowers are reaching out. The flowers and the greens are things that you decided that you loved, and they're reaching out to you in love. And don't be afraid to stick in those greens. Okay. And there we more or less have it. I did adjust it a little bit after that, but it's pretty much it. Look at the trash. Look, you might have two arrangements in whatever you buy from the grocery. The Floral Life, a little like flower food that it comes with. You can put it in there in water and pour it in after you are done arranging. So important to do that, because as you arrange, little leaves will fall in. And here's the final result of what I put together. Really enjoyed it. Brightened my space. It actually lasted for quite some time. And the trick to making it last is to change the water every day and ensure that whatever little leaves fall in, you clean out. And that's the tutorial.